At the edge of a quiet town stood a small house with peeling white paint and a rusted mailbox that leaned a little to the left. Every evening, just as the sun dipped below the hills, one window on the second floor would light up, a soft golden glow like the last flame of something once bright. No one really knew who lived there anymore. The children who once rode bikes past the house had all grown up and moved away. The neighbors whispered stories that an old man lived alone, that he never came out, that the light was his only companion. His name was Robert, 83 years old, retired watchmaker, widower. He hadn't had a visitor in over 7 years. The days passed slowly for him now, marked not by appointments or errands, but by the shifting of shadows on his living room floor. He would sit in his favorite armchair by the window, cup of lukewarm tea in hand, and watch the world outside with a silence that only old souls carry. People walked by, laughing, talking on their phones, carrying bags of groceries, lives full of noise and movement. His life had grown still, like the hands of the watches he once fixed. But every evening, without fail, Robert would climb the creaky stairs to the second floor, turn on the small lamp beside the old writing desk, and sit by that glowing window. That was the moment people saw, the last light in the window, the last sign that someone still lived there. That desk had once belonged to his son, Michael. A bright boy, quiet, artistic, always drawing something. He used to sit there for hours, sketching comic strips or ships with sails taller than the house. Robert used to scold him for not doing math homework instead. "You won't make a life drawing pictures," he had said once. That was the last real conversation they had before Michael left. They hadn't spoken in over 20 years. Robert had always planned to write a letter, make a call, say something. But time plays tricks. It tells you there's always tomorrow, until one day, tomorrow doesn't come, and silence becomes heavier than guilt. His wife Anne used to say, "You're too proud, Robert. Someday that pride will cost you." She died not long after Michael left. He never came to the funeral. Robert didn't blame him. He blamed himself, but he never said it out loud, not even once. And so the days went by. He lived quietly, almost invisibly. The only thing he looked forward to was that light, that desk, that window. Until one night, something changed. He went to turn on the lamp as usual, but it flickered, then went out. He tapped it. Nothing. The bulb had finally died. In the sudden darkness, Robert sat motionless. A strange tightness gripped his chest. The next morning, a young boy knocked on the door. Robert hadn't heard a knock in years. The boy, maybe 10 or 11, held a package. "Hi, my mom said you ordered this. It came to our house by mistake." Robert took it, puzzled. He hadn't ordered anything. Inside, a single bulb, warm white, old-fashioned. That night, he screwed it in. The lamp lit up. The window glowed again, but now something shifted. Robert pulled out an old notebook from the drawer. The pages were yellowed, brittle. He began to write, not about watches or bills, but memories. The way Michael used to laugh. The smell of Anne's hair after the rain. The first time he held his son's hand. Every night he wrote more. The light in the window wasn't just a habit anymore. It was a beacon. Then one afternoon, a letter arrived. Return address. Seattle. He stared at it for hours before opening it. Dear Dad, I don't know if you still live there. I don't even know if you'd want to hear from me, but last night I dreamed of that window, and when I woke up I hoped, just hoped, that maybe the light was still on. If it is, maybe we could try again. Michael. Robert wept. Not loudly, not with shaking shoulders, but with quiet, trembling hands that held the letter like it was gold. That evening, the light in the window burned brighter than ever. A new bulb, freshly cleaned glass, curtains pulled back like an open invitation. A week later, a car pulled into the driveway. A tall man stepped out, hair speckled with gray, eyes like Robert's. He stood at the door, suitcase in hand, unsure. The door opened before he could knock. "You took your time," Robert said, voice cracking. Michael smiled, tears in his eyes. "Yeah, but I'm here." They didn't say much that night, just sat by the window, side by side, watching the sky turn from blue to gold to deep velvet. The next day, for the first time in decades, 2 lights were on in the house. "There's someone else living there now," someone said. No, not someone else. Someone who had always belonged. And every evening, the last light in the window still glowed. Not a symbol of loneliness, but a promise that it's never too late to forgive, to come home, to love.